Mother, mother, I crave violence. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and we're going to be testing not a brand new card, but a card that I haven't really seen hit play, and that's Carnage Interpreter. The little C symbol here is from the Clue set, as in like the board game. So when this ETBs, discard your hand and then investigate 4 times. That is, make 4 clues. As long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, this thing gets +2/+2 and has menace. So this is kind of, because there's some hoops to jump through, but this is kind of a 5/5 menace for 3 mana, which is a hell of a fucking clock and is not to be underestimated. So let's take a look at what we have today. Our list comes to us from Teddy Legato, who gave me this shell and I kind of tuned it up a little bit, but the core idea already existed. So we are looking to essentially be menace.deck with Grief, Exsanguinator Cavalry, Carnage Interpreter, and Honorary Menace Creature Troll of Khazad-dûm, all having this sort of menace evasion stuff built in. And Carnage Interpreter makes 4 clues. That is 4 artifacts when it hits play. There's some really neat deck building going on here, and that continues with Currency Converter. So if you have a Currency Converter in play, and then you Carnage Interpreter, you can discard a handful of cards, and then get additional value out of them, which also means additional artifacts, which means your Urza Saga tokens get bigger. And hey, you know those boots that I am in love with? Those boots that are made for walking? Well, we are going to use those on all of our menace creatures to put a world of hurt on our opponents. A side note here in terms of optimization, Skorpek Lord from the Warhammer 40k set is something that should be considered for this deck. It is possible that this is better than Exsanguinator Cavalry. However, I was not able to get a hold of these at the time of the video, so I'm going to stick with Exsanguinator Cavalry, which I think is a perfectly respectable legacy card. This might be better because of the benefits it gives to your Urza Saga construct tokens, but then again, like, lifelink is real, as is going and creating these blood tokens, which also buffs the Urza Saga. It also could be like, hey, maybe we squeeze both in there in some number. As far as the sideboard goes, there's really only one spicy card here, and that is from the Catacombs. Let me just drag that over here for a second. So this is 5 mana with Escape, so you can essentially flash it back later on in the match to put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield with a corpse counter on it, and you take the initiative. If that creature would leave the battlefield, you exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. This was something that Teddy originally had in the main deck, but I think you only want this for the really long grindy matchups versus control decks. That's kind of where my head is with that, so I bumped it over to the sideboard. We have a decent amount of Graveyard Hate, Generic Disruption, and then Removal. If memory serves, Teddy's original deck list was heavier on removal than just this. I think 5 pieces of removal here is enough. We're not really looking to remove creatures, we're looking to just kill our opponent. And so this seems okay at doing that. I did fit a Surveil land into this mana base. You can pick whichever one you want, it doesn't really matter here. Yeah, I think we're ready to go ahead and jump into some matches here. Should you find that you need some Carnage Interpreters or other cards that you see in this deck, please consider checking out toamagic.com. That's Tales of Adventures. And if you use promo code ThrabenU, you will get to save 5% on your order. Get yourself some free shipping and everything in one envelope from one vendor. Let's battle. All right. We are keeping essentially a staple Grief Reanimate hand here. Oh, don't chalice me on 1. Okay, this is fine. Hopefully. Blood Moon could be spooky. Okay. That feels beatable. So I want to fetch a basic swamp here. Just 100% of the time. I am always doing that. I don't want to get mooned. I believe that I am grief pitching grief. Oh. There is not a lot of gas left over there. So I was envisioning this turn going a lot differently. We're just going to go ahead and cycle both of these. It doesn't really matter. I guess I'll look at you. Rabble Master on top. Yeah, this is awkward. So I am like very clearly on the defensive. Grief doesn't take anything else. I believe that I am just going to reanimate a Battlecry Goblin here and use that as a blocker. I really need these cards off the top to do something meaningful. Oh, okay. So my big problem right now is that my opponent goes wide of what I'm doing pretty easily. Like an uncounterable Rabble Master comes down here. I can trade with War Boss, but that still leaves a Rabble Master. And one of these tokens is going to become a 2/2 as well. So I'm absolutely just doing this. My opponent doesn't even have to endanger the Rabble Master in combat if they don't want. My opponent's last card's Mountain, so this is not the best here. Don't have any sort of board wipe type thing. I just need more bodies. Shadow Spear feels like it's going to be too slow. I can reanimate the thing that loses me the least amount of life. I don't think I play Shadow Spear. I think I am cycling Troll at end of turn so that I always have 3 mana. I'm just a little behind curve right now. My opponent attacks in with this. I block this, take 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. It's a 2-turn clock. So I'll block one of these, keep this token alive. I can Shadow Spear equip, potentially. No more, no more. F's in chat. The Shadow Spear is no longer valid. Life's bad. That's interesting. The goblins are forced to attack into this. I don't know that this stabilizes me or anything, but this is a damn good start. The issue is that as we continue further into the mid-game, things like Muxus are going to start being like absolute haymakers that threaten to just kill me in 1 card damage report. Bad. Bad is the answer. I imagine that pushes all the math over the line. I'm effectively at 8 life so like if I block these 2, I take 2, 4, 5, 8, which is the amount of life that I'm at. Oh, they didn't attack with Rabble Master. Can I live through this then? So I do Ya and Ya. Take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go to 1. That seems fine. Yeah, this needed to come in too to kill me. This is still probably good enough. Like, there's a gajillion bodies in play. 4 unblocked creatures. I end up just short here, right? So I, like, block, 4 gets through. I gain 2 of that back. Even if my opponent does not do the Rabble Master thing and, like, attack in with that. And it's block, take 3, still dead. I'm not going to show my opponent Carnage Interpreter. Opponent says, note to self, do combat math. Didn't matter this time, friend. Didn't matter this time. But yeah, hard agree. Combat math confirmed important. All right, so I've got 5 removal spells that I can board in. Soul Guide Lantern, not particularly strong. Currency Converter is not something that I would super be looking to tutor up in this matchup. I'm going to say that that's expendable. I think my opponent's deck is just faster than mine. Sideboarding is weird here because I can't go down too many black cards because of, like, Grief. And I can't go down too many artifacts because then my Mox Opals get shut off. That leaves me in kind of a weird spot. Maybe this is a shave rather than cut any one specific thing situation. Awkward. Does Urza Saga go all the way? Does my opponent play a Magus of the Moon? That just gets me here. I think I'm going to keep the slightly awkward hand. This is essentially a very strong 5-card hand. So we are doing this. I need to punch the initial hole, and I hope to just kind of close the gap very quickly with Urza Saga. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 6 mana for a turn 3 Muxus. That's scary. I think I need to slow down my opponent by taking Spirit Guide. If I take Muxus, they still just have turn 1 Legion Warboss, which starts spiraling. I think my goal is to slow my opponent down to let like either Urza Saga Shadow Spear or Urza Saga Lavaspur Boots take over the game. I think I need that speed bump. Cool. I do have to Ancient Tomb here, unfortunately. Don't have the 3rd artifact for Metalcraft, not functionally anyway. Oh, they did not make a land draw. They have put F in chat. We take those. I don't know if that was a Magic Online thing or if they just had a brain fart. Oh, they say they removed auto yields and it looks like something backfired. Happens to us all. This is going to be a disgusting Lavaspur Boots turn though. Like, good god. Boots, play Vault, they're 5/5s. Equipped to this one, this is 11 immediate points of damage. That is devastating. So my opponent could have a Legion Warboss in play right now, and could be threatening a Muxus this turn. And instead they're kind of in chump block territory, which feels super bad if Ancient Tomb is the land that you're tapping to cast things. Ooh. Oh, they low rolled on Namesticker Goblin. What is a Goblin Matron? Is there a Skirk Prospector? Okay, they're just going to go for another Namesticker Goblin. They just try to survive the turn by double blocking and then Namesticker Goblin next turn. However, my grief is going to have things to say about that, unfortunately. Oh, it's single block? They're going to go to 1? Not the way that I thought that was going. Now I will take 2 to go ahead and grief. Yeah, that was brutal. I think there's a very good chance that my opponent just walks away winning that one if they don't accidentally F6 that turn. Like, my draw was good, but theirs was very scary as well. Maybe Mox Opal is just not metal crafting very hard, and I just take some redraws. I don't know that I have the life to both Thoughtseize and Reanimate at the same time. This hand doesn't do anything. And these are maybe not exactly great in multiples. So we'll ship that. Am I just dead by turn 3? Sometimes. Like, this together is a very strong turn 3 that represents like a Shadow Spear on a Carnage Interpreter later on in this game, but that's quite later on. This has a clear plan to win, but if my opponent just starts on 3 mana threat on turn 1, I think I just take a lethal amount of damage before I do anything. Maybe with double bobble as redraw, draw step, and this surveil land, it's good enough. I'm a little skeptical, and I am worried that I'm just going to die, but I'm hoping for the best. So this represents turn 1 threat. Yep. I'll eat my 1 damage. Sanguinator Cavalry. So let's see what's going on over there. There's another Legion Warboss and a Battlecry Goblin. Those are good cards. So let's surveil, get a little bit of selection here. That's pretty good with this. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Turn 2 Exsanguinator Cavalry is pretty good against the Legion Warboss type cards, and if I can do back-to-back copies of these, that's pretty hot. There's going to be a lot of 1/1s running around, though, and a few 2/2s from Mentor. So I'm eating 6 damage this turn. Dark Ritual is interesting. Can keep me from taking points of Ancient Tomb damage this turn, which feels relevant. I have no artifacts for Urza Saga, which is kind of a problem. So I think the plan involves cavalry this turn into cavalry next turn and Urza Saga at the same time. But I haven't mathed this out. It's possible that the war boss is just too much power already. Oh, fuck. I'm dead. That just fuels Battlecry Goblin, and they high rolled, so it's double Battlecry Goblin activation. I imagine I am literally dead this turn. So this is the board state after those two activations, and my opponent just shoves. We are very dead, even if I block, so blocks are for cowards. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists, and they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out. Okay, I've kept an opening hand here that essentially is going to just... Oh, wow, it's actual factual death and taxes. That doesn't usually happen anymore. I can now Urza Saga on one, right? Just Urza Saga, triple things. Yeah. That was a very good draw. Why it's in the deck, I guess. Let's vomit all these into play. We want to get these in under a Thalia type card. Gunforge Mystic, probably the scariest thing here. There's the Thalia that we played around. Cavalry's fine for later on, but we are not on that train right now. The Giver of Runes can give protection from colorless, which does matter. But I think I am going to just overwhelm my opponent. Really? That's unusual. Okay. No further progress from my opponent. Let's do this thing. Cool. We're going to continue to make artifacts. So this is a question of, do I want the trample to get through, or do I want the boots so that I can just keep the constructs coming? I think these boots are really good here. So we just do this, boot up a construct, attack with both of these, and then next turn I can just make an Urza Saga token and attack with 3 of these. And this is just going to outpace what the Giver of Runes is capable of doing. Solitude is nice. So my opponent is targeting the one with Ward. So they kind of did their turn inefficiently. If they just like go for it in response to equip, I gain 1 less life and they don't have to burn the extra mana. So now they can do the block and protect thing, which is not that big of a deal. Again, every Urza Saga token that I make from here on out is going to be hasty for the rest of the game. Cracking the clue. Alright, there is a Wasteland. That's a great start for my opponent. I have a third Urza Saga. I don't know what you want me to say there. And this is also going to be my opportunity to put Exsanguinator Cavalry into play. We will do that off Saga. Not really a point of me attacking. So we'll just do this. And we've got some nasty damage potential. Port's very good. Oh, no. Lauren's also very good. They can blow up the Urza Saga. Lol. I think I'm interested in this, even though this exists. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put a second one of these into play. How are my attacks this turn? I think I'm just going to wait a turn. I think I just want to present my opponent with more at the same time. Flickerus was annoying. It gets rid of a construct token. Okay, it can get rid of an Urza Saga token that way, I guess. Or an Urza Saga itself. Ooh. The Tramplies? The Trampliest? Gonna cost me 2. That'll be very good another turn down the line. I'm interested in throwing this on one of the menace creatures. And we'll go ahead. That was weird. I right-clicked attack all, and I did not attack all. Okay. That's a little frustrating, but Not the end of the world. Sure, that's fine. I'll go to 22. Sure. Getting a Flicker Wisp. That's not bad. We'll go ahead and equip our Construct token. And we'll see how combat goes here. Sure. I guess making this one more power is pretty good. I don't really want this to get chump blocked though. So because of how like ordering blockers work, I have to deal 1 to this Thalia so I don't actually end up getting through here. So this creature is massive, but a Flicker Wisp is coming. I think I'm going to go ahead and just loot through this land. That's not what I want to see. I am going to go ahead and cash these in. There's another Thalia. And the Flicker Wisp that I already saw. Sure. I think I potentially lose this one to, like, somehow clicking through that combat. But I don't understand how that happened. Those are blanks. Could have gone deeper with this blood token, I guess. Sure. I'll take 3. So let's junk some stuff here. Just absolutely whiffing on gas, which is quite unfortunate. I have this 6 power trampler. My opponent can go like 3, 4, 5, 6 trade with this in a way that's not the best for me. I'm just going to go ahead and fetch. I think I'll just do a scry. I could have waited on this potentially. Reanimate represents Solitude, which is pretty good. I'll go ahead and put that on top. This costs 2 mana due to Thalia. I'll just go ahead and wait a turn here. 4th land drop. Swords is a very good draw there. That'll bring me to 24. Sure. So we're going to start here. I'll just take some card out of graveyard, not the Solitude. Going to just crack this and draw a card. Troll's not really what I'm looking for. I think I like this better. So this really only works on the giver, unfortunately. Opponent did not protect something in response. I'll take that. And Dark Writ because of Thalia. I can Lavaspur Boots, though. I think I'm just going to hold this back. It makes my opponent's attacks worse. Can make it trample next turn, then like hardcast a troll. That's the 5th land that represents Yorion to hand this turn. Another swords. I just take a bunch of damage here. Yeah, I think randomly losing that attack step just lost me this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not that far off from just troll, haste, kill. Right, so this is 3 with Dark Ritual, 6, 7. I can hit my opponent for 7, put them to 3. Yeah. Just absolutely fully. That misclick or whatever it was cost me this one. I don't lose this game 1 if I get that attack step. Alright, I have 5 removal spells that I can board in. Soul Guide Lantern goes out. Mox Opals go out, question mark. We have a bunch of menace threats here. This is like unexciting but probably keepable. And I have some okay selection here. I haven't done the Carnage Interpreter thing yet. I would like to do the Carnage Interpreter thing at some point. That's an above average draw. I will take that. I think I will just cash this in immediately. Opponent's got Giver Runes again, which is annoying. Like one of the benefits of playing a colorless deck is that you traditionally get around Mother of Runes. That's fine. I think I am interested in not just going ham on Urza Saga, but playing Exsanguinator Cavalry immediately. Like, I just want to play Cavalry into... That's a good draw. Into Cavalry here. Bobble's fine. This Bobble with me playing Urza Saga next turn, probably just like I cast this turn and have it sit in play. Now Aether Vial gets to do Aether Vial things. Weird. I think I'm just into doing this, though. I think this is just worth my 2 cards, despite the awkwardness. Opponent will put in their Giver in response. A Lauren and a Surgical. Obviously, I will take the Lauren. The Surgical's not doing anything here. I'll go ahead and play Cavalry. Play Urza Saga. And these Urza Saga tokens are going to be absolutely massive because these trigger on each other. I think it's worth it to blow a blood token to try to turn Ancient Tomb into a live draw. That's great. And I think we have just generated a non-game where I just run my opponent over with Menace Creatures and Saga Construct tokens. That is not what they are looking for at this stage of the game. A bauble. That's fine. We'll send in with some creatures. There's some triggers. And then I'll pass the turn. Like, Urza Saga tokens aside, this is also just threatening to be lethal very quickly. Opponent needs some sort of, like, bullshit Recruiter of the Guard string or something to get over this. And they don't. So now it just comes down to how well do we draw in game 3. Alright, I'm going to keep my opening hand here. We have the whole Grafe Reanimate scam thing with an Urza Saga to follow it up. Sure, I can dismember that at some point. Bobble's kind of whatever. Let's grab a basic swamp. We're getting rid of Exsanguinator Cavalry here. I just don't have the mana for that right now. I probably take my opponent's Solitude and Jitte. I think that's my plan. I can reanimate the Solitude, take out Giver, but I just have an answer to Giver already, so I don't really know that that makes sense. I'm just going to take their turn 2 play. I'm going to immediately cycle Bauble, just trying to hit my next land drop. As long as I hit... Reanimate on Solitude is a thing. So 1 unknown card now. I guess Reanimate on Solitude is awkward with Flicker Wisp still there. I think this is a slightly awkward turn. I think I am playing but not equipping Boots. And sending Grief in with the intention of dismembering some creature of my opponent's, presumably the Giver of Runes, unless things get weird. There's the land drop that we know about. It is just Yorion to hand. Sure. So we'll just go ahead and clear the board here. And hopefully draw a land. Not quite. Almost what I want. I'll get Swamp. Well, I guess this is actually really good, right? Because I just give the Troll haste. And Lavaspur Boots just fuck. Surgical is an unknown draw. So my Reanimate that's in hand is awkward because of my opponent's Flicker Wisp. And that was going to be 10 points of damage this turn. So it goes. We'll just Boots up the Grief then. I still get 4 points in, but, 4 versus 11, kind of a big difference. Opponent's at 11. So there's potentially some Swords to Plowshares style nonsense going on here. So I think I like this. I boarded out all of the Mox Opals. I really want one right now. This can immediately attack. It's also my 3rd mana for Carnage Interpreter, which also matters. Oh well. Send on in. Opponent gets hit for 4. And I'll pass turn. Just no use of mana. Yeah, not having the 1 Mox Opal means I can't move the Boots here to make Flicker Wisp not kill this Construct token. I don't know, once the Flicker Wisp is out of hand, I do just get a Solitude, in theory. That is a Swords to Plowshares. Paying the ward. Those Carnage Interpreters are not doing their thing. I can't cast them. I kind of need to equip this so that they have to draw a land to Flicker Wisp. So just very awkward for me. I don't think I can risk the loot into it. Alright, opponent's at 3. They need to answer or otherwise block this token. That'll do. So this lets them pay the ward cost. So now hopefully I can do some reanimate type stuff. So I will now reanimate the Solitude. Exile your Flicker Wisp. Equip with Boots so that I have ward. Hit you to 2 while increasing my own life total. 4th land drop. Okay. Skyclave can get rid of Oh, get rid of currency converter. Sure. I think I just edict away that creature and the game ends. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Alright, I made up for that missed attack step. It only cost me an extra 10 minutes. Whoops. Alright, let's take a look at this. So I can do like turn 1 Vault and Boots, turn 2 Ancient Tomb Exsanguinator Cavalry. That's like okay. I wouldn't say that I am ecstatic about it or anything. Okay. There's an opposing Ancient Tomb hand. Okay. So we start playing cards. So I can go like Bauble and Opal. Land gets me to 2 mana this turn. Ancient Tomb kind of gets me to 3 mana this turn. It's like 3 mana if you kind of squint sideways at it. I can put these boots into play. That turns on Mox Opal. I don't think I sorcery speed cycle the troll. I think I do that at my opponent's end step. Second Bauble. Maybe I want this mana though, for Metalcraft reasons. If I end up like playing Shadowy Backstreet next turn for some reason. Burgy. Okay, so my opponent is on Storm nonsense. Probably the Elemental Eruption deck, which I have already recorded with. I am unsure whether or not that video is live as of the time of this recording. I'm on the fence about which one of these I'm releasing first. I get untapped land. I think I am not cracking Bauble. I think I'm going to leave that around for a little while. So I think the way that gives me the highest percentage chance to win the game is doing this. I discard my hand, investigate a bunch, turn this into the 5/5, immediately turn it into the 6 power creature, and then crash in with the Menace Haste body. Get my opponent to 12 and just put them on a 2-turn clock. Uh-oh. Things are happening. This is 6, 7, 8, essentially a gajillion mana. And my opponent has 4 cards in hand. Not literally infinite mana, but effectively enough mana to combo off. Love seeing them hit lands here. I guess more importantly than anything else, they do have multiple blockers for Carnage Interpreter. So the Medallion plus Ruby makes Burgy kind of go off hard here, but the limiting factor is probably cards in hand. We are hoping that they don't just naturally have Elemental Eruption. Fuck me. I guess we turn this into a different card. And my opponent has just done something more unfair than a 6 power Menace creature. So I think I'm dead. Like, I'm just not equipped to deal with this. I can't really think of outs. I will take a draw. Shadow Spear? Question mark? I'm not going to do the math. I'm just going to see if I draw it. And I did not. Dead. All right. I know that I need discard now. So these extra thought seizes are going to come in. The Graveyard Hate is not really the best here. For like Burgies and Namesticker Goblins and stuff, I can also think about this sort of interaction. It's whatever. I don't need Soul Guide Lantern. Currency Converter is too slow for this matchup. Need Lavaspur Boots. Those matter a lot. So I guess from here it kind of becomes like, how likely am I to set up Mox Opal? And given what I saw last time, I leave one of those. I'm so reliant on Grief to do business stuff here. I think I'm going to try just the Dismembers. And it could be anything. I think I keep it. I'm going to look at 4 new cards next turn. We'll Thoughtseize, poke a hole over there. The Questing Druid is a payoff card. We'll take that. And I'm going to play all 3 of my baubles. See what my opponent is drawing. Alright, so they essentially have all mana. And I need to find something meaningful to do before they start drawing business cards. I hit another Grief, which is not exactly what I want. I need to put something into play. Thank you, deck. So this is another redraw. Weird lag burst here. See the Tarn again. I think I am interested in Swamp Cycle or one of these. I think I am going to Grief pitching Grief. I think I just need this to represent land drop number 3. So Manamorphose is a redraw. Everything else is just mana. I think I'm going to take the redraw. And then we try to look at like a reanimate or a reasonable threat. I can't play that next turn. I think I'm just gonna bin that. The upside of hitting a reanimate is just so high right now. See if my opponent has a surveil land. The list that I was playing didn't. Theirs does. This was something that I thought was good. And they prevent themselves from drawing a land. Saga is good. I don't think I'll go so far as great, but it's good. Now I will kind of keep that bobble around. Well, yeah. Just play this out. Then end of turn, I'll cycle the troll. I wish I had drawn Lavaspur Boots to immediately start pressuring my opponent's life total. Things start to get scary in the next turn or two here, as my opponent is eventually going to draw even just like like Ren's Resolve type cards that just allow them to look at 2 things. A reanimate is very good. I think I'm just going to do Grief rather than Troll. I think disrupting matters more here. This is all mana. The Namesticker Goblin is either +1, +2, or +3. Seething Song is always +2. So a quarter of the time this is better than a Seething Song. Quarter of the time it's worth. Half the time it's the same. Oh, that's not quite true, right? It's not quite even distribution. Let's take a Seething Song. I don't know, maybe the Namesticker Goblin body matters. Maybe that is the most important thing in this equation. Sure. So now we are swinging, because now I get my boots. I think that's a distraction. Unless it's just attacking as a 5/5 immediately, that also grows this by 4. Weird. That's not a distraction. That's the plan. Okay. Carnage Interpreter, putting in work. Boots. All right, this is the dream. This is what we signed up for, right? So investigate a bunch of times. Hey, yeah. All right. So Carnage Interpreter can now attack. Are we at lethal? 17? 17. Nearly lethal. So that was a disgusting amount of damage. Let's do that more. Well, why have we only done that in round 3 of the league? So now I have to decide if I want to Sholdred's Edict. It's like fine for Burgies that are played out early. I think I might need the extra interaction on the draw. I'm going to drop the Mox Opal, even though that bit me in the butt once already. I think I'm going to shave some of the redraws. This still leaves me with 5 baubles. My Urza Saga tokens are a little bit smaller on average. I don't think I want to cut black cards for the purposes of Grief here. Double Reanimate. Awkward. This is just turn 1 Exsanguinator Cavalry and then try to loot into some new stuff. I think I would rather just mulligan this than keep it. Just Dark Ritual YOLO 5/5 with 1 redraw in play is probably fine. The question is, like, do I just play this on turn 1 or do I wait to play it on turn 2? Because I can go like 1, 2, like turn 1, this, or probably basic swamp this. Turn 2, play this, Dark Ritual, Carnage Interpreter, and this. I'm going to keep this, get rid of the Reanimate, and then if I draw Grief, it's like ever so slightly annoying. Oh, my opponent is on 4 cards. All right. So I think on 4, their best way to win is like playing a Ruby Medallion or a Burgie or something like that on turn 1 so that it dodges my Thoughtseize. Okay. 4. Okay. I think they kept the Storm card in their hand and were trying to hit the 25% chance of just making a couple of dragons on turn 1. And then, you know, when they missed that, they conceded. I respect going for the fences after you've mulliganed that low. As soon as I have my first turn in Grief and Thoughtseize are online, that hand falls apart anyway, so like good on them for going for it. Alright, I'm going to keep this hand. We're paired against a Yorion deck. There's a little bit of awkwardness with this hand, in that like we have Grief Reanimate, but not the starting black land unless I Troll Cycle first. I'd kind of like to just draw a basic swamp naturally. But I'm on the play, so I kind of have to commit to what I'm doing here. I maybe just do this, start on Urza Saga, Shadow Spear this, and just like try to go as aggressively as possible and ignore my black mana in the short term. Ooh, that's a little weird. I care about the Stoneforge a lot. I think I'm taking that and leaving my opponent with the swords. This is like a Yorion Stoneblade deck. Yeah. This is a time where having that black mana to immediately reanimate and take the swords would be really cool. But we don't. And such is life. Oh. What a draw. What a draw. So let's dismiss that. I will reanimate the Grief. Force of Will pitching Hull Breacher. I got 2 cards for my reanimate still. Like, that's okay with me. I guess I was preemptive to X out those cards. Surveil. And my opponent junks another planes. So the really cool thing here is that I am going to get to attack with a construct token on my turn, even though my opponent has Source of Plowshares. Like, Lavaspur Boots is such a paradigm shifting card. Yeah, so I go in for this. I pick up the boots. I will attempt to equip the boots. My opponent can decide if they want to Swords to Plowshares this one immediately, which they do, and then I'll play my Swamp to just equip to the other one. And whenever we end up losing this Urza Saga token, I will cash in the bauble. We are very much in the beatdown role right now. I do need to be worried. My opponent does have a Yorion endgame, but they've got 2 cards. And the ward is relevant too. It makes cantripping into removal a little bit harder. Sure. That's definitely a little scary. Kaldra is being threatened here. I guess I would love to find a Grafe. We looked at the Kaldra again. Vault of Whispers and Ancient Tomb. That is not what I am going for here. So I'll bash in with my 7/6 creature. I guess I can make a Kaldra not indestructible, but the scary part about this is first strike and the exiling. So I need to find a way to go wide of this Kaldra, because it is just winning combat as things stand now. We can surveil, like I know what I'm looking for already. That'll do. It's slow, but I think that's okay. Now Kaldra hops into play. Alright, it's just a land drop from my opponent. That's not too bad. We are going to sit and stare at each other for a little while. And Urza Saga will thrive in those sorts of situations. Ooh, do you have another Surveil land? My opponent didn't put Yorion to hand, notably. They're not ready to do it yet. I guess they don't want to lose it to discard. Sure, that's fine. Sanguinator Cavalry. Oh, so I don't have the ability yet. Frustrating. How does this read? What loses it? An artifact creature or planeswalker, it loses all those abilities. Okay. So this is just a mana producer for right now. I will go ahead and Exsanguinator Cavalry here. Who is wearing what pieces of equipment? It's kind of weird, but I almost want to make this better at just blocking or like dealing with normal blocks. I think this is going here, despite the fact that that lifelink is a little weird. I'm going to keep this in hand for blood token reasons a little bit later. And I think next turn, I can really start thinking about doing an all-out attack and make the Urza Saga token I move the boots to that. I have 2 reasonably large creatures. Another... Can I not read? Counter up to 1 target activated or triggered ability. Oh, right. It fully countered the ability, which gives me the mana. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So I guess we like currency converter here. So using that floating mana, I'll draw a card, discard a card, junk this ancient tomb, put that under there, play Urza's Saga. Oh, right. Forgot about that. Yeah, I think I will just outweight my opponent here. It's a little weird if they have more copies of these. So I can have 3 decently large bodies, or I can attempt to have 4 decently large bodies, which I think I like better. Let's just immediately loot. Discard the swamp. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just activate an Urza Saga this turn. Probably in my opponent's upkeep, not give them extra time to draw this token, please. Everything is big. All right, the staring match continues. So, make a token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Mox Opal 6, second Mox Opal 7. Could also attack with a troll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can also just like keep waiting a turn and just kill my opponent later. I think the board state is getting better and better for me. Like, I'll take this Swords to Plowshares out of their graveyard. All right, there's still the Lavinia. Maybe it is just time for me to go for it. This one is hasty. Can make one of them trampley. The trampley one probably gets blocked by Cauldra. 2, 3 bodies, okay. Yeah, I think we're okay to go on in. All right, send it. A Solitude, that's very good. Sure. Oh, I should have activated Currency Converter for 1 more life. I probably want to kill Solitude here. That's the one that I don't want my opponent to Yorion Blink. I'll go ahead and just throw a land into my graveyard, make these bigger. I'm going to make your Cauldron not indestructible out of spite. So this gets exiled before I actually do the combat damage, though. Alright. And I take some losses. The kind of hope here is that my opponent ends up doing some attacks and I just get in with a hasty troll. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the way that I set this up. Yeah, see, this is exactly what I want. Now the troll gets to get in safely. I'm at 30. There's Yorion to hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. Yeah. Absolutely brutal. We get the Yorion at least? No, we get a Brainstorm. Is this worth a token to equip this? It is if my opponent draws Solitude, but not a land. Yeah, I guess that's worth playing around. I'll just make my other thing now. Cauldra is so good. So are these boots, though. Samwise, sure. Opponent doesn't have something that was put there, so I don't need to crack the Soul Guide Lantern. This is good to know about, like the Soul Guide Lantern is not dead. Exile up to 1 target creature. Sure. My opponent will pay for the ward. Then exile my construct token. We'll see how much my opponent swings out for. That is perfectly reasonable. That puts me to 16. I will get to do a bunch of hasty damage with Carnage Interpreter. Ooh, nice. So, play Saga, do Carnage Interpreter, discard the Mox Opal that I can't cast, make a bunch of clues. Yes, I will exile that from graveyard. 1 mana, equip Boots. 2 mana, I guess I'll do this like this. Equip Shadow Spear. This damage does not get blocked. That is just 7 menace, haste, lifelink, trample, ward, goodness, which is cool. This also is a surprise 2/2. Oh, Wasteland is really good. Rip my Urza Saga. My opponent really has to think about how many creatures they attack with. Oh, everybody's getting in here. Sure. I'm going to make a creature. I think the most important thing is getting rid of the lifelinker. That feels important to me. Now there's more. Sure. My opponent gets to blink a bunch of stuff here, which means that they have blockers. All right, so Batterskull Skull is being represented. Samwise threatens to get this back, so I will now go ahead and exile my opponent's graveyard. Gotta figure out how to fucking deal with this slightly longer term. I think I am willing to take 2 to look at another card here. This is going to temporarily get smaller. Draw first, maybe? I can still empty this stuff. It's fine. We're getting rid of that for hand size purposes to make this larger. Let's loot this time. I've kind of ended up tapping in an awkward way. We'll put that under currency converter, pass the turn. Next turn, I can have 2 hasty Carnage Interpreters. Oh, Caldra's so annoying. Just don't have game 1 removal to just like temporarily take this out of the way to just get over the edge here. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And it just kind of like forces me into this offensive situation that I don't really want to be in. Sure. So I do this. Discard the bauble, investigate, put a bauble under currency converter, have an extra body. I don't think it makes sense to attack here. It's awkward because like this can come in. I guess I can block this, pick 7, go to 1. Okay, that in theory works. I'll leave equipment and mana like this. Oh, there's the fucking Batterskull too. Forgot about that. Batterskull equipped to Caldra, I think blows me out. Or that does too. That's just 8 in the air. I'll draw a card. Again, I don't think I have outs. I just don't have game 1 removal. Oh, that's a shame. That might have put me over the edge next turn. Yeah, I am dead to the attack in the air. Okay, so I know that I want these Dismembers and these Shouldered's Edicts. Those would have broken that previous game wide open. I think despite the fact that this does some stuff versus Samwise, I just get rid of that. I'm not really sure what to do with sideboarding with like these artifacts. Because every time I start pulling artifacts from the deck for non-artifacts, like one of these opals gets worse. They kind of matter. Maybe do something like this. I could see some Thought Seizes. This hand does not do anything. It has some redraws, but I don't really know that I'm excited about just keeping this when I have much stronger possible opening hands. This is not one of them. I think I am probably going to very reluctantly keep this and just hope that some Urza's Bobble redraws plus a Surveil can get me to a reasonable place. And I think I'm going to go for the Surveil first. I just got rid of one of those. We'll try to learn 2 of the cards in my opponent's hand. Marsh Flats and Solitude. So we are looking for the 3rd land for Urza Saga, or otherwise Reanimate is pretty good as well here. There's the Marsh Flats that we know about. So let's Saga. Reanimate on Cavalry is not like the most exciting thing in the world, but it's kind of what I am currently working with, so we'll call that fine. I have Dismember available for something like a Stoneforge that's played out. See if this is Swords or if this is just Surveil. Ooh, opponent says no to a Stoneforge. Oh, that's why. No land drop. Yeah, you may absolutely Solitude my dude. I accept. So my opponent is in a very scary position. Like, I am just going to attempt to eat them alive with Urza Saga Construct tokens with haste. And they missed again. Like, they might have a handful of Swords to Plowshare type cards, and like they might be able to weather the storm. But they are at least getting hit by stuff once. The 4th Cavalry that I've seen this game. I guess I don't have my next land drop here. So I guess I am not getting the Boots haste hit in guaranteed. I guess I'm just getting a Mox Opal. So I can go Mox Opal, tap for mana, Swamp Cycle, pick up a land, play a land to hold up Dismember and attack for 4. And not having that next mana source cost me 5 points of damage. Okay, slightly less than that. Well, that's very good for my opponent. Hopefully I can put the pressure on and make this not have time to do its thing. Alright. Man, boots, though. Wish I had those boots. I think the Opal matters quite a bit, right? Because, like, Opal is letting me do this while holding up these. Yeah, just no lands on top of my opponent's deck. That does mean that they just have business. I'm gonna go ahead and hit in. Cavalry connecting means that my Urza Saga construct and my cavalry grow, which is kind of a rough combo. And we're just gonna pick up a troll here, see if this gets Force of Willed. Nope. All right, so now I have 2 pieces of removal backing up 13 power. All right, so this is the point where my opponent can start doing meaningful plays. They've got 7 cards in hand. Can I close the door on this game before they can dig themselves out? Stoneforge resolves. Yeah, that's sweet. I think I'm just going to... Ooh. Yeah, what do you got? Kataki. All right. We're going to cast this. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. And the idea is that this is the Force of Will bait, so that I can actually dismember Kataki. And I am going to pay 4 life to play around days here. Fantastic. 6, 10, 13. I guess there's a Solitude. Send it? Or wait, the Solitude was this. That was revealed earlier in the game. All right, cool. I am a little low on clock here. I'm not expecting a game as grindy as game 1. That was probably an outlier. Is Dark Ritual good? Maybe. I think I'm more excited about it allowing me to hardcast Griefs than I am about it, like, doing a Carnage Interpreter early. Yeah, this is a perfectly reasonable Saga-based hand. Go ahead and get rid of the stop on my opponent's upkeep. I'm not using that where I'm going. I am fine playing that on turn 2 and slowing this game down a bit. See what my opponent's got. They've got their own surveil nonsense. Yield until their end step, and then cycle troll at end step. See what they've got. Sure. We got the immediate fetch and a vial, which is perfectly reasonable. At end step, we'll go ahead and swamp cycle. I'm just going to pick this up. That's kind of a turn-changing card. So now I can play Urza Saga and Cavalry. I'm going to do this way, though. And leave a black floating so it looks like I have a reanimate. And then I'm just going to go ahead and like F6 my opponent's turn. See what they've got. Stoneforge, obviously good. Cauldron slows me down a lot. Grief is probably my best draw in the deck. I just get to use that to take the Cauldron. Oh, I am getting a response. That's fine. Maybe if I attack first, I push 2 points of damage, but I think they swords that every time. Oh, those cards are really effing good. The Cauldron is the scariest one. There's other scary shit going on there that I can hopefully grind through with an Urza Saga. Alright, land drop into Recruiter. Recruiter with Ephemerate, obviously quite good. Going for Flicker Wisp, which is obviously very good with Ephemerate and good against Urza Saga tokens. So do this thing. Don't have a Pithing Needle to get, unfortunately. Urza Saga. Booties. Get Solituded. My opponent can Ephemerate then, which is honestly disgusting. Yeah. I want to go ahead and just play out this Bauble in case something like Lavinia comes down later. Pass the turn. I can start making more Urza Saga tokens, but like Flicker Wisp Solitude and stuff is probably just going to beat me. The Cauldron threatened to invalidate combat and put things to a standstill. I think that's more important to take than this blink stuff that's happening right now. But life's bad. Cryptic Coat. Sure. This represents some other forms of card advantage. Not in the best position. I can maybe try to steal this game, but I think it is quite tough to do so. I also just have to respect my clock here greatly and kind of do some suboptimal sequencing. Nope. My opponent is just holding Flicker Wisp, which is perfectly reasonable. That can't be blocked. We'll do the Urza Saga stuff over the next couple of phases here. Sholdred's Edict. That's not bad. So what am I most interested in here? Shadow Spear, maybe? I think let's try to force out some removal. Sure. That's annoying. This is still leaving the Flicker Wisp. Ugh. So I can kind of see the writing on the wall in that, like, I'm going to lose this construct token in the not too distant future. I think I'm going to go ahead and just cash these in, call it a turn, take my redraws, and then go from there. My opponent is using more clock than I am, but I don't think they are in danger of timing out. Sure. I will attempt to make that trade. If you would like to use resources, you may. No. I'm super happy to have that Solitude off the table. Ooh. I don't have the most time to sit here and think about things. I think I'm going to go, yeah. Oh, fuck, I should have played this out. Okay, didn't matter. What could have mattered? Cycle that. Call it a turn. Don't think I want to pay 6 life to Dismember right now. My Bauble redraw. Hasty Lifelinky Troll is in theory interesting. I need to take a turn off to just kind of do some board control. Don't love that. Okay, cool. Let's do some board control. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Now I'm going to hold up Dismember and potentially try to punish my opponent. Yeah. So this is not the way that you do this. So the way you do this is activate Stoneforge, hold priority, and then activate Cryptic Coat. So I do this in a way that potentially gets the Cryptic Coat stuck in their hand, which is a big deal. Opponent not using the Stoneforge. Or sorry, the Flicker Wisp. That's brutal. Because now they have Lauren Caracas to start taking out all my various pieces of equipment. I don't think I can realistically win anymore. Unless my opponent just punts into the Stratosphere or times himself out. I eat 4 in combat. I'm at 8. Oh, God. I don't know how many critters this is, but it's too many. What a bomb. Yeah, with that, I am quite dead. My opponent just had more endgame reach than I did by a lot. Okay, so turn 1. Can't get Metalcraft on turn 1. I can do like turn 1, Swamp and Shadow Spear and Opal. Turn 2, Urza Saga and Soulguide Lantern. Keep this with the ability to grief. It's slightly clunky and slightly slower than I would like. I think given how powerful the Lavaspur Boots are, this is not crazy. I can also like not grief immediately and Troll Cycle on turn 1 maybe. I don't know, my opponent's going to 5. Alright. Are we combo or are we some sort of red prison type thing? Alright, we are chalicing. So that means these don't do stuff anymore. I'm going to play my 0 drops out now, just 100% of the time. My opponent's got 1 card left. They maybe don't even cast it. I think I am just going to Troll Cycle here. Oh, let's get this stop back in case I need it. Hey, that's why we played out the 0 drops. Now I would like to draw a black card for grief. I don't think I want it bad enough to crack the Bauble. Hey, perfect. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Like, if that last card over there is a Blood Moon or something, I just need to take it. Then we Saga. And we are now going to Saga activate, Saga Lavaspur Boots attack. And hopefully our opponent does not have a lot to say about that. Extra land drop is perfectly fine. All right, opponent can cast 3 mana cards now. That's not, maybe not their ideal 3 mana card. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? Like, if they get that on board and then can, like, broadside it later, like, that sort of stuff does matter. And we did not randomly draw the Lavaspur Boots to miss out on a very large amount of damage, so that's nice. Yeah. Oh, right. There was another one of those. Whatever. I don't think that matters. Like, I shouldn't have done it, but it doesn't matter. Like, this is just so much raw damage. Hey, it's broadside, just like we talked about. My opponent can attack and throw the Spirit Guide at this to take one of my bodies out of play, which is what happens. I can attack my opponent for 5. They're at 4. I've got a Surveil queued up here. And if my opponent draws a 3-drop that they can cast, the Lavaspur Boots saves me. Yep. Okay. So no attack there. We'll fetch and Surveil. Nope. I'm not cracking this. The toughness amount is super relevant right now. Given that, I would be okay trading just straight up for both of these here, and then just playing a new Urza Saga and killing my opponent next turn, in all likelihood. Send it. Tradesies. Urza Saga. I'll keep the Bauble in play for now. So my opponent can loot their card and attempt to loot into, like, a Blood Moon. Otherwise, I just have hasty Urza Saga tokens for 2 turns. Cool. So, do the thing. And we get the concession there. Opponent's hand was still pretty good despite the mulligans. So I need some things that help me stop broadside in particular. Which means this stuff. I wonder if this is a From the Catacombs matchup. Like, this is a very slow card, but this is a way for me to, like, get broadsides and stuff that I normally don't have access to. It's sort of interesting. Soul Guide Lantern can go. Currency Converter is slow. I like reanimating my opponent's stuff. And then I keep running into this same, like, when I board in these 5 cards, what of this pile do I take out problem. Guess we're doing this? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't think I'm going to do From the Catacombs on the draw. I can think about, like, maybe that and Douthie Voidwalkers on the play. This is a weird one. This is a reactive hand. I think it's fine. Like, I think I just try to remove a couple of threats. I'll have access to black pretty much no matter what. And then, like, I remove some threats and then I play Carnage Interpreter. And that's bigger than most of the stuff that's going to be on the board. Like, I don't care about Chalice. I don't care about Magus of the Moon. Don't care about Blood Moon. Trinister is a little annoying, but I don't even know if that would still be in. Sure. Right? Sure. My removal doesn't immediately stop this. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Yes. I don't know if I would have kept this hand if I were the opponent. Like, this is very all in. I'm just going to take the 2 and get my second swamp. Yeah. Cool, cool. Well, let's just drag this off to the side so I don't accidentally play that. I'll pass the turn. I'll Sheoldred's Edict to this if my opponent goes to combat without playing anything. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Alright, that's clear. My opponent maybe has a removal spell or something. Doesn't really make sense for me to slam Carnage Interpreter yet, which is, like, kind of awkward because I want to play my threats before my opponent just, like, top decks a bunch of stuff, but I don't think I just want to play the 5/5 Menace into, like, Dead Gone, have my thing bounced in response to its ETB trigger. Like, that's so awkward. Because, like, I can just play another card that my opponent will ultimately remove with whatever removal spell they've found. 3 mana is broadside. Sure. I maybe just want to Dark Ritual Sheoldred's Edict. I don't care about the Dark Ritual. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. And just holding up mana for Dismember may be relevant in the future. Like, I've already got a card to loot away with Exsanguinator Cavalry. Maybe 2 cards now. Send it. 18. Scale up my threat. I think I am fine doing an immediate looting. That's not a real card because of Blood Moon. 1, 2, 3, and 1 for the next turn cycle, maybe. I think I'm just going to play this. I'm pretty likely to Carnage Interpreter on my next turn. Yeah, that's fine. Sure. I think I'm just fine with things continuing as they are going. I really don't want to give up this Dismember. Like, got other stuff happening. I think because of Meltdown, I play this land. Alright, land drop from my opponent. Beautiful. So this is pretty ideal for me. So I will just dismember this creature now while nothing can go wrong. Then I'll take the initiative and play Carnage Interpreter. That's a dead card. Or actually, I think I play Carnage Interpreter and then take the initiative. I can put another land into another basic land into play that way. So investigate a bunch of times, attack for 4, continue to scale up my cards. Yeah. Second main phase, do this. I imagine we're done here. Like, I don't really know how you come back from that. So we put up a positive record, even though I think the deck's a little clunky, and I think I played medium today. So Teddy, I think we're on to something, but I don't think we're quite there yet. I wonder if we have too much mana in this deck list. Like 20 lands plus 4 Dark Rituals plus 4 Mox Opals plus 8 turn 1 redraws. Feels like a lot when there aren't that many things to Dark Ritual into. I don't know, maybe we just didn't line up Dark Ritual well in this league. Like, we never just had like Swamp Dark Ritual, 3 0-cost artifacts, Carnage Interpreter turn 1. Like, we never did that. I don't think we ever lined up Dark Ritual, Cycle Troll, Reanimate. The league showed that Lavaspur Boots is good. The league showed that Carnage Interpreter buffing Urza Saga is like very synergistic. It showed that like throwing boots on like this or this is like very scary and is a lot of additional damage out of nowhere. I still feel like things are a little off in some way. Like, maybe there needs to be a Pithing Needle in the 75. Maybe we need some main deck removal. Maybe we don't go all in on the Mox Opals. I don't know. Something is off. I don't know what. I don't know how. Maybe you go Threat Denser to make Dark Rituals better. Like, maybe you play something like this as well. There's something here. I don't quite have it figured out yet. I'm going to give this one a shaky thumbs up, where like there's still some tuning to be done, but this shows a lot of a lot of potential. Maybe you play a couple more Urborgs. You could play like Douthie Voidwalkers in the main deck. Maybe you need some Dismembers or Snuff House or something in the main deck. Like, most of my rounds, I boarded in Edicts and Dismembers. So I'm not entirely sure where that leaves me in terms of exact details. Would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment below. Folks, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and should you find that you need some cards, check out toamagic.com. Use promo code ThrabenU to save a little bit on your order. Have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!